98 not out, sponsored by Shepherd Neame, proud supporters of cricket in Essex.
Dazzler, I'm proud and privileged and honoured to be on your programme, and Webby, nice to talk to you as well.
It's a pleasure, dear chap.
Fire away.
So you're in good form. How are you spending lockdown and bonfire night?
Well, it's very strange, really. Yeah, it's bonfire night, you know, because of all the Bunburys here, you know. I feel as though I'm in solitary confinement in peacetime. I'm 74, Dazzler.
No, you're not.
And I've never, ever had this situation where we've always, you know, England is great, freedom. I always think life's like a roundabout, you know. You spot the best ride and then you get on it, do your best, and everything's possible. But now I feel as though we're trapped. So to answer your question, I'm at home and very glad to talk to you.
Excellent. Now, I've got requests. I've told various people, and I put it across social media, that you're appearing tonight.
Yeah.
And that's fired up a few people to say, make sure you say hi from me. So I've got Don Topley says hello.
Oh, fantastic. Don and Reese. Reese is back now.
He is.
Bunbury. And Don is dad. Chip off the old block. Brilliant.
They look very, very similar, don't they?
Well, they do, but I tell you, quite a few of the Essex lads are Bunburys. You know, Chris Silverwood, Gucci, of course, Paul Pritchard.
And whatever became of those guys? I mean, did they ever do anything?
There's a bloke called Wesley, a bloke called Ravi. Bumpara, Bopara, John Charles. No, the Essex lads are always great. And,
yeah.
And we had a festival at Felsted School a few years ago, Dazzler, and it was terrific there. Really great.
Yeah, good setting as well down there, isn't it?
Yeah, beautiful.
Now, those of you that are listening thinking, who is this David English bloke? Why are you playing the Bee Gees and whatever else? Let me just give you Philistine listeners that don't know, let me just explain a brief history, a potted history of David English. So, Lord's Ground Staff, 1963. Then went on to play for Middlesex Seconds. Joined the London Evening News in 1966. And then it starts. Head of Press and Publicity for Decca Records in 1971. Now, Decca, if you know your music and if you know your 60s and 70s music, Decca was the label. And here we find Mr. English rubbing shoulders with the Rolling Stones, Tom Jones, etc., etc. In 1973, founded RSO Records with Robert Stigwood.
Yep.
Now there's a name. And that got him managing, or they got you managing Eric Clapton.
Yep.
And the Beatles.
And the Bee Gees.
The Beatles, yeah, the Bee Gees. What am I talking about?
No, that was somebody else.
I'm getting too carried away. I'm getting too excited, David. I'm getting too excited. The Bee Gees.
Yeah.
And oversaw records such as Saturday Night Fever, Layla. Amazing. We'll talk about this all in a second. I want you to put some colour on all of this. As well as being the president of RSO Records, went into acting and appeared in over 100 films, TV and theatre productions, including, what a film, A Bridge Too Far with Robert Redford.
Yeah.
Serious film, that is.
And Sean Connery.
Ah,
of course.
Robert Redford, yeah. James Caan, Gene Hackman, Dirk Bogart was there, Michael Caine, Anthony Hopkins.
But they were only there because of you, weren't they?
That's right, they were there. They were just the kind of support actors.
Well, I'll tell you what, while we're there, now tell us, you've got so many stories, but let me start with this one. Let's tell us all about A Bridge Too Far and those mighty actors that you were rubbing shoulders with.
Well, this was really great, but it was... So Richard Attenborough was holding auditions as the dance centre in Florence Street. And Dickie Boy, yeah, and I went in there. There's 2,000 actors there, out of work. And Dave Tomlin, the first assistant director, said, right, so Richard's going to see you 6 at a time. You've got 5 seconds to tell him why you should be in A Bridge Too Far. And he said, Davey, darling, now you're a cricketer. I said, that's right, Sir Richard. Let me be the grenade thrower. I will hurl your grenades. He said, write that down, Dave. Put that down there, grenade thrower. Okay, so anyway, we have the call back, Dazzler, and we go to Twickenham Studios, and we're down to 500. And eventually, he picks out 30 of us. I was second. Liverpool Frank was first. Great, like, you know, speaks like that. Right there, Davey boy. And number 2, David English, the cricketer, all that thing about grenade throwing and all that. So anyway, we go to Deventer in Holland, 1976. And what I said to Sir Richard Attenborough, Daz, you're going to love this. I said, look, Dickie, when you're setting up scenes on the bomb sites and all the tanks and all that, I will have little cricket matches. We'll have little games in between. He said, that's a good idea. Keep them all happy. So I met all these actors. Great. Lord Olivier, Sean Connery, Redford. Listen to this, Webby. It's fantastic. James Caan, Gene Hackman, Dirk Bogart, Anthony Hopkins, Ryan O'Neill, Maximilian Schell, the German. And I got them all playing, and we actually had a big game on this burnt-out bomb site in this war film. And I said, what we'll do, Dickie, we'll call us the APA, Attenborough's Private Army. So the APA 11 took on the world's greatest film stars, and we're playing the British film. There's Messerschmitts flying around, Wolves and Spitfires and all this going on, and this game of cricket, and Olivier loved it. I'm off-break bowler, I'm an off-break bowler. Michael Caine was going, do you know, he was doing all that. Anthony Hopkins, and they all really got into the cricket. But I must tell you this, Webby and Daz, that Sean Connery, who was a really good bloke, like this, we had to do a night shoot, and it was the hottest summer in 1976, so there was no rain, and had to have rain, so we had the wind machine on with hoses, and we're walking through with our machine guns and stuff like that, following Sean Connery, who played General Urquhart. And then at the end of the scene was, right, cut, break, okay. And so I get the bat out. So we all get the old bat out, and we all start playing cricket. Anyway, Joe Levine, the big producer from Los Angeles, he comes in, and the next day you see the rushes, which is really the filming you'd done the previous day. Hey, Dickie, okay, let's have a look at the rushes. Come on, Dickie, put it on. And there it is, Sean Connery, all playing like that. And suddenly he went, what the? You right, Joe? What the? And there, in the corner of the screen, was 12 blokes playing cricket against a tiger tank. And it cost him $200,000, lads. It was absolutely wrecked. And Dickie said, Davey, you've cost me $200,000. I think we better be careful with our cricket team in future. That's the God's truth.
Were there any of them any good?
Yeah, they were. Some of them. Robert Redford, he took it very seriously, left-hander, and good-looking bloke. And I was asking him what was Steve McQueen like. He said he would have loved this. He'd loved this playing cricket. Gene Hackman, very strong. Dirk Bogart, quite kind of wily leg break bowler. Anthony Hopkins thought the whole thing was a hoot. And so whenever the cameras stop, lads, out comes the bat, and we're playing behind tanks and on bomb sites and whatever, and that was 1976, yeah.
That's quite 10 years before the Bunburys were formed.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But is this the idea, though? Was this where it all started?
No, what happened was, lads, I was doing a programme called You and Me on the BBC. You and Me and You, lots and lots of things.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Lord, yeah.
Remember that? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And we're up at Mill Hill Village, and I'm with my illustrator, the guy who did all the animation, and a rabbit ran across the field. I said, look, there's Ian Bunbury. And there's Viv Radish, and Dennis Lettis from Australia, and Viv Radish from Bunny Badoff. and while I was rabbiting on, excuse the pun, Jan was drawing. And it led to 16 books. And we wrote 16 books, Lur Buns, Bunbury Tales, Bunny Badoff, and we had all these little rabbits characters. And that's how it started. And so I thought, well, what I'm going to do, I'll form a celebrity team. We'll have a laugh. So I went to my boys, Eric Clapton, who knows nothing about cricket at all. I said, look, El, all you got to do is just turn up. So we went to his old school, Ripley Court School in Surrey, lads. And it was when did he start? 1986. And Eric Clapton was at first slip, with a glass of red wine and a fag on. Bill Wyman was looking the wrong way. We had Dennis Waterman, Phil Collins kept wicket. There was, I'm remembering them all, there was Ringo Starr, Leslie Grantham, and it started raining, and 5,000 people came and saw these nutters in the rain, and we raised 27 grand for the Royal Marsden Hospital in Guildford, and I thought, well, this is fantastic. I said, let's call it the Bunbury 11 after my children's books, and that's what we did. We played every Sunday, and so far we've raised 17 million quid for different charities and having the greatest time of our lives. And they've all played in the team, and that was it. But Eric knew nothing about cricket, but he got into it, and then the Bee Gees came and played, and anybody I could get hold of who was slightly famous or whatever, I just give them a pullover and a cap, and they became a Bunbury, and that's how it started.
Of course, you got some famous cricketers themselves to get involved, didn't you?
Yeah, Beefy. Beefy was fantastic. I went down to Somerset and saw him and Viv. Okay, Dave, what you doing, man? Hey, Davey. Hey, brother, man. Yeah, man, Davey, man. You
that was Botham after one of Viv's cigarettes, though, wasn't it?
That was Beefy. Lord Beefy.
Lord Botham, yes. Lord Beefy, yeah.
Lord Beefy. And he called me the Loon. He said, "You're a loon." I said, "That's all right, Beef, don't worry about it." He said, "What's all this Bunbury stuff?" I said, "You've got to come and play." So we had a game at Taunton, and we had Viv playing and Joel and Beefy, and we had thousands of people there. And he said, "Look, Looney, I do these charity walks, and I'd like you to come along and entertain the troops, keep the old morale up, the old spirit." So we go on these walks, lads, right, 25 miles. So I thought, this is ridiculous. So this taxi pulled up. He said, "Are you struggling, mate?" He said, "Go on, nip in the back, get in the back." So I got in the back of this taxi, and we're right at the back of all the walkers, and every time we got to town, I used to get out and see him. Beef, he said, "Where are you, Loon? Where have you been?" I said, "I'm out the back, Beef, keeping morale going, spirit. You know, everything's going well, I'm doing well." He said, "Good lad, keep going." Until one day, the taxi overtook him, and he saw me in the back of this taxi.
Oh, no, disaster.
Yeah, and he threw me in the river. Held me straight in the river, lads. And that was my... so after that, I had to walk with him all the time, yeah. Fantastic.
It's a good point because, you know, a lot of eyebrows were raised recently when Beefy was given the peerage, and there was a lot of people saying, you know, what for? What's he ever done? Oh, playing cricket. But I think people don't really realise that just how much he's done away from cricket and how much he's done for charity and all these wonderful causes.
Dazzler, you couldn't be more correct. He's the most charitable fellow. He's very strong. He's a strong bloke on the field and off the field. And if he gets something in his head, nothing will stop him. Like the Bunburys, he liked that, so he supported me. And the walks and the money he's raised for leukemia research is fantastic. And he's always got charitable causes. He always wants to help those who are less fortunate. And then I started my school's festival, 1987, the Bunbury Festival. And I said, "Look, Beef, you've got to help me here. I want to give the youngsters the best chance to fulfill their ambition to play for England." He said, "Okay, Looney, you help me on the walks and all this and everything, and I'll come and help you." So the first one was at Harrow School, and the first boy to actually play for England, 1987, was John Crawley, and there was Ronnie Irani, and they were under 15. And what it was, lads, Webby and Daz, to get to the Bunbury Festival, you've got to play for your school team, your county, your region, then you come to Bunbury Festival, and the four regions, that's South and West, London and the East, North and Midlands, play each other in a round-robin situation, and then at the end of the week we get the best 11, and then they go to Lords, and we play the MCC schools. And so it's school, county, region, Bunbury Festival, and then they go England under-19s, and then England. And so far, in 34 years, 114 Bunburys have played for England. Most recently was Zach Crawley, Dom Sibley, Ollie Pope, beg your pardon. In fact, the current England team, apart from Jofra Archer, are all Bunbury boys.
Wow.
All came to the festival. So that's great, isn't it?
Well, that means if they pull off their batting helmets, that a couple of big ears are going to pop out, does it?
Yeah, exactly. And in the top pocket, yeah, exactly. So Beefy is a great bloke, and I'm glad he's Lord Beefy. He does so much for this country. He's at England through and through. And we became very close friends, and he helped me, and I helped him.
Excellent. And as we learned from David Gower, when we had David Gower on this show a few weeks ago, Beefy works hard, but he plays hard as well, doesn't he?
He does.
Have you been on the end of one of those legendary evening sessions?
Well, we were in Australia, and we were doing a show called The King and I. And on the poster, Viv was the king, Beefy was I, and I was And. I was lucky to be And on this poster, lads, right? This is God's truth. And we're flying all around Australia, doing these nights, question and answer, and fatal. We're in this plane one day, and the pilot said, "Hey, Beef, you know, fantastic. Is there anything I can do for you? What would make you happy, Beefy? Tell me." He said, "Well, I wouldn't mind having a go at the controls." "Oh, be a pleasure." Yeah, Viv Richards, he's at the back. He's got sweat on. "Oh, God, no. Here we go. He said, "Looney, where's that beach? That beach that everybody goes to?" I said, "Well, I think it's over there somewhere." So we dive bomb this beach. We go, whoa, people kind of covering up, God's truth. And we land in this place where we were doing The King and I. I'm trying to think, it's South Australia, and the mayor
Bondi
said,
Beach, was it?
yes, that's it. And we arrived, and the mayor said, this is a great day for Australia, and we've got Viv Richards and Beefy and the Loon here, and this is going to be great. But before we go, lads, we're going to take you on the river. On the River Murray, we're going to give you a really good time. So we go on this boat. It's God's truth, lads. We go on this boat, and he said, anything you'd like, Beef? Fatal. Yeah, he said, I'll have a go with the controls. Let me have a go with the controls. So we're going down the River Murray, and coming towards us is another boat with a band on. You know, it's the right one, it's the left one, it's Martini. And the old skipper said, Beefy, to the left a bit, mate. To the left a bit, beep. We hit this boat, and I remember the drummer going over the side, the bass player, the whole band ended up in the kind of river. And that was the night. This was before we actually performed, and we went on the stage. I can't go through some of the questions, but they were quite kind of lively. And we did a whole tour, the King and I, and that was Beef. And yeah, he does. He loves a beer, and he's great company, and he's terrific. I do remember some of the questions, but maybe another time, lad. Yeah.
It reminds me of just hearing about the band playing on as the boat's going down. That reminds me of that scene in Titanic.
Yeah.
And a great mutual friend of ours and a former guest on this show who wrote the musical score for that scene in Titanic, Mr. John Altman.
Oh, Johnny Altman, he's a Bunbury. He's great, man. Best saxophone player in the world, and that's number 4 for the Bunburys. He's great. He's a great chap. Has he been on your programme?
He has, and a bit like yourself, was regaling us with tales of well-known personalities from the sports world, and he told us a great story about as a youngster zipping around London, coming out from Lord's in his dad's Mini with Peter Sellers jammed on the back seat.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, I knew Johnny when I was managing the Bee Gees. They got to a point where they'd run out of ideas, so I took them to Miami. And Johnny was always around. John Altman is a great musician. I took them to Miami, and still they couldn't come up with some catchy songs. So we're going back to the home, which is 5630 North Bay Road, and we're going over the Sunny Isles Bridge, lads, and the wheels of the car went and Barry said, Dave, let's go back to this studio. And he went back and he wrote Jive Talking. He wrote Jive Talking, and Morris and Rob were there, did this, and we released it, and we went on tour, and by the time we got to New York, it was number 1 song. And let me tell you, both you and Webby, that when we went back to the studio and they wrote Jive Talking, there was a newspaper there, and a writer called Nick Cohn had written something in the New York Times about Saturday night's all right. Saturday night's a good time, go and have a knees up and all that. And Barry, Robin and Morris sat down, and it is Middle Ear Studios, and the producers Albie Galutin and Carl Richardson, I remember them, and he wrote Staying Alive, How Deep Is Your Love. This was over the next few days.
Yeah.
You Should Be Dancing, and the Jive Talking. And Robert Stigwood, who was the boss, and we had a red cow, because when I went for my audition, the Evening News Star Standard seller on the corner, it said the year of the red cow in Japan. And so when I went for my interview with Robert, he was at 67 Brook Street, and he had a glass table held up by 4 stone lions, and he said, I've heard all about you. You're the one. And I thought there was somebody else in the room. Because he managed Frankie Howard and all that lot. Oh, don't stop it. No, so I'm looking round here. I said, he said, no, you're the one. We're going to start a record label, and it's going to be the biggest independent record label in the world. Now tell me, what's a good idea for a logo? I said, well, Robert, the Beatles have got an apple, but how about a red cow? It's lucky in Japan. Right?
I remember, yeah.
Yeah. So he said, fine, red cow. So I go to 46 Brook Street, the chairman's at 67 Brook Street, and the first 2 people I signed was Tim Rice and Andrew Lloyd Webber. And I signed them, and we did Joseph, an amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, And then I did a song myself, How Much Is That Doggy in the Window, backwards. Window Doggy, How Much Is?
Oh.
It sold 3 copies, and the chairman said, I want to talk to you. This isn't really it, Dave. I want you to get these Bee Gees boys together. So I got the Bee Gees in, and we became great friends, and now I'm accelerating. So we then went to Miami, Sunny Isles Bridge, jive talking, and then Robert Stigwood said, fine. I said, look, Robert, we should do a film with these songs. It would be great, and it should be all about Saturday night. Saturday night's the night. You all work hard during the week, but let's go and we'll do it. And with Saturday Night Fever, and we auditioned John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, and we made the film. And in 4 years, it was 1973, 4 years, RSO became #1 independent record label in the world. It had Eric Clapton, Lay Down Sally, You Look Wonderful Tonight. That was one of Eric's.
Oh, what a record.
And you know, lads, we're in Times Square, and it's got the American Top 10 there. And there it said, Jive Talking, Staying Alive, How Deep Is Your Love, You Should Be Dancing, Lay Down Sally. And Robert Stigwood said, I think we should celebrate and go to a club. So we go to this nightclub, and this bloke sat on the door and said, hey, man, you can't come out of here without a tie on. You've got to wear a tie, man. You can't walk around like that. So he went, blah, 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 blah. So we all go in there, all jumping about, John Travolta and everything. I said, Robert, how'd you get in? He said, I bought the club. On one condition, you can't wear a tie to get in. Now, that's the kind of bloke I was working for. Isn't that great, lads?
That's brilliant.
Yeah, then we did Grease.
Yeah.
So we had a real good run. That was a real good Bee Gee time, and then Eric was doing great, too. He was doing his songs. So
didn't Saturday Night Fever? I'm sure it held some kind of record.
Yep.
As a film soundtrack, because was it a double album?
It was a double album, yes.
Yeah.
And I think it was the biggest selling musical soundtrack, certainly at the time.
Yeah, definitely.
It was, and the old RSO cow there, little red cow, it did well, and it's a golden time.
And then, of course, Grease after that, another stunning success.
Grease is the word, so that was great, yeah. And but Stiggy, our boss, he loved it. Anything which was outrageous or whatever, he loved. He always used to encourage me to be, he said, the reason you got the job, Dave, is because you're gregarious. You make people laugh. You get them all going. And that's
how I got the job at Phoenix.
Yeah. Guys, I think you're the brother I never had but found.
You mentioned Tim Rice there. Now,
yeah.
Tim's got a great cricketing pedigree as well, hasn't he?
Yes. He's got a club called the Heartaches. And he, talks like that. Jolly good. Whatever, Dave.
Yeah.
Bit like Richard Attenborough, actually. They get on well together. We've played the Heartaches. He loves cricket. You must get him on your programme, Daz.
Yes, I will add that one to the list. We've just, in fact, we were just talking before you came on to a lovely chap called Chevy Green, who's part of this ACE charity that's just started.
Yeah.
We're going to have to get you guys hooked up because it's African Caribbean engagement.
Oh.
And he's encouraging young black kids to get involved and take up cricket because, as you and I remember from the 70s and the 80s, there were lots of black players around on the county scene, on the first-class scene, and even on the club scene, but that seems to have disappeared a little bit.
Wayne Daniel and Roland Butcher and Middlesex.
Sylvester Clarke.
Yeah. Michael Carberry.
Yep.
Bunbury.
Alex Tudor?
Yeah, Alex Tudor was a Bunbury, yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
It's funny, lads, 34 years. Our greatest year was 2006, and we were playing down at Preston Nomads near Brighton. We had Stokes, Butler, Joe Root, Zafar Ansari. And I used to take them to Nando's on the Tuesday, and we used to have a knees up. You're going to love this. And I saw Ben Stokes pour peri-peri sauce into Joe Root's Coca-Cola. I caught him. I said, I've got you, Stokesy, I've got you. Anyway, so Zafar Ansari was the outstanding all-rounder. You'll love this. He talked very, very nicely like that.
Yeah.
I said, well, Zaf, well done. So you're going to play for England one day. You're going to be a batsman and all-round. He said, no, I want to be a concert pianist. And that was it. He packed it and went and played piano.
That's right, he did. He did.
Yeah.
At the height of his powers.
Yeah, but we've had some great players, though. Ian Bell, Alistair Cook, your Essex.
Yeah.
Ampleforth College, 2000. There was Ravi Papara, Alistair Cook played there. We had some wonderful players.
Well, I'm going to hook you up with Chevy, and we're going to make this happen. We're going to have a Bunbury 11 against an Ace 11.
Yeah, great.
And we're going to do good things.
Terrific, that's that.
Yeah, let's be a force for good in this dark and dreary world. It's a tough time at the moment, isn't it? It's all for a lot of people. There's not a lot to look forward to. So I think we should be doing our bit to bring a bit of enjoyment and sunshine.
I couldn't agree more. Tonight, today is the first day of the lockdown. Just think, a month lockdown now, and it's very hard for young people and old people, and it is a hard time. So anything that brings a smile to the face, yes, Dazzler, very good.
Yes, absolutely. Now, while we were listening to the Bee Gees,
yeah,
Webby was telling me that he thinks he's played against you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have. A long, long time ago, but Brentwood, which is
yes,
has always been my club and still is. I'm the chairman there now.
Oh, well done, Webby. Yeah.
And my dad would have captained the Sunday side against Finchley, and I believe you captained Finchley's
that's right,
Sunday
with
side
Mike
as
Milton
well.
there and Tim Selwood. Yeah, that's right. I was captain of Finchley. Did you ever come to our benefit days, Webby? We used to have the Arden Field, Arden up in North 3, Finchley. Yeah. I used to sell marquees to different companies, and then we used to have Eric Clapton performing and the Bee Gees at the end of the day. It was fantastic.
Just like any other cricket
day, really. People couldn't believe it. They used to get absolutely paralytic in these tents. Wonderful kind of hospitality, terrific cricket. And it was every team had a famous player. It was eight aside, famous player, and then the music afterwards. And
tremendous.
Maybe I met your dad then.
You may well have done. Yeah, it would have been probably beyond my drinking years at that point in time.
What year would that have been, Webby?
Oh, when were we playing over there? That would have been mid-90s, I'd have thought.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That was bang in the middle of our big days, our big charity games.
Yeah, superb.
Do you still play? Do you both still play?
Well, Dad's the same age as you, so he's not played for a few years.
Man, yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's the president now, so he likes to look on from the sidelines and tell everyone what they're doing wrong.
Oh,
well, actually, tell everyone what everyone else is doing wrong.
Oh.
And yeah, I'm the chairman, so I don't get to play much either these days.
Oh, well done, Webby.
We have a go, We're still very much
Paul
involved.
Pritchard play down there? Did Pritch play down there?
If he
John
did,
Kyle?
it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
He's played a Billericay for the Taverners.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of guys over. We've had.
Yeah. Brilliant.
David, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
All these names that you're coming out with, I mean, I'm sat here, my jaw is just bouncing off the desktop here because, particularly when you talk about Bridge Too Far, I mean, that to me was kind of like the sort of the last hurrah for the Hollywood sort of, stars with the big screen, if you like. These names you mentioned, Robert Redford, Anthony Quayle, Sir Sean Connery, bless him.
Yes.
Who have you been in the company with where you have been the most starstruck?
Well, that's a very good question. I met Elvis Presley with Barry Gibb. We went down to Gracelands and saw him.
What was that like?
Let's go back to Bridge Too Far. That was 1977. And out of that lot, I think Anthony Hopkins was the most natural. Lord Olivier, I had a couple of scenes with him where my legs had been shot off. This is after the cricket games, by the way. And I had to say, my boots are full of blood, right? This is true. Yeah. And he said, dear boy, do get this line out quickly because I'm at the National Theatre tomorrow and I haven't got much time. So Dickie Attenborough said, right, sound running, turnover, action. And I went, my boots are full of blood. Cut! And Attenborough said, Davy, if I'd wanted Tommy Cooper to play this I would have asked him. Says, all right, my boots full of blood. So, of course, the whole crew now have taken the mickey. I've getting hand gestures and all that, all behind the director. And, putting me off. And Lord Olivier, he got a bit chirpy. He said, get the line up, blah, blah, blah. And so I was a bit starstruck by him. But, Elvis was a good one.
So you're at Gracelands with Was it Barry Gibb you said, or Robin Gibb?
Yeah, Barry Gibb.
Barry.
Barry's my best friend.
Yeah.
Out of all those lads.
He's the last surviving Gibb brother, isn't he?
He is. Yeah, Morris was terrific, very, very funny, and Robin had a lovely voice.
Yeah.
You know, they wrote all those other songs. How Do You Mend a Broken Heart?
Massachusetts,
and whatever. And the great thing about them, lads, is that when we got together in the Midley studios, we used to arrive, BG and I used to go down there. I had an old Ford Mustang, and he used to love this car, and the bottom of the car was falling out, and the wheels didn't work, but he loved it. He loved the Ford Mustang. So he said, let's go. And so we got down the old studios, and they would write 2 hits a day. They were so kind of brilliant. And Barry would come up with an idea. Morris would... and the funny thing is that, lads, all 3 of them would come to the studio at different times. So Barry and I would arrive at 12 in the Ford Mustang. Mo would come about 2 o'clock. And Robin would come at 4. And all 3 of them had the same melody in their head without talking to each other.
Wow.
How's that? That's brothers. Sibling. And, of course, there was Andy Gibb as well, who passed away. So only Barry is left now. But, yeah.
Is he still living in Miami?
Yeah, North Bay Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Barry, and he's great. You know, we had so many funny times with him.
Now, listen, Gracelands.
Yeah.
So you're there, Barry Gibb?
Yeah. Well, we go to Gracelands. Joe Esposito said, hey, Elvis wants to meet you, BG. He wants to talk to you. So we go in there. And how does he go? Yeah, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Bad sounds good. Yeah, that's it. And he had 5 TV sets. And in the middle of us talking to him, he got out a revolver and shot one of the TV sets.
Rock and roll.
I said, Elvis, in England, we've got a remote controller. A remote controller. Yeah, that's very funny. Very funny. So the old TV went up. Anyway, they said, right, off we go. So we all go down to this Cadillac dealership, and every week he used to go down, and if there was a down and out or a lady in a box or something like that, he would buy them a car. And there was a lady there, and her name was Maria Hotchkiss. She had blue hair. Hey, Elvis, how you doing? Hey, Anna, you want a car? Yeah, I'd like that one there. Okay, Anna, Joe, the car there for Mary. Okay. Hey, take care, honey. That's it. And then we used to go back. And, you know, so that was my time where I met him, which was kind of quite awe-inspiring. And the TV set kind of was quite frightening a bit. But anyway, yeah, he's a character, wasn't he?
Oh, God, yeah.
He never came to England, which was a shame.
No, was it Scotland he came?
Scotland.
Yeah.
Yeah. He on the way to somewhere with the Colonel Parker. But never came to England. But great character. They're all great characters.
Oh, yeah. I can't imagine.
In their different ways, you know.
So bringing it all up to date. So what are you doing with you? What things are you involved with at the moment? I mean, obviously Bunbury, but...
Yeah, Bunbury, and to be honest with you, I'm looking for some ideas, lads, to be honest with you. I've written 2 autobiographies. I'd like to write maybe another book, but I am actually looking for some other ideas. So if you want me to come and sweep the studio or do something down there, I'd be delighted to
we're definitely having you in here. Once lockdown is finished and we can all move about a bit more freely again, we're definitely having you in here. And
it'd be terrific, Dad.
You can maybe do a musical takeover or something one evening, and we got Mark Butcher coming in the near future, and he's going to bring his guitar and
terrific.
He's going to do that. So let's do a David English takeover.
Evening with Dave English.
Yeah, absolutely.
Evening with Dave, and Butcher's a Bunbury. He's great, isn't he? Wonderful, lovely guitar player. And Johnny Altman, get the saxophone out.
I'll tell you what,
get the old band together.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's the brewings of something spectacular here.
98 Not Our Band. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant idea.
Darren's decent on the triangle.
I can play the drums a bit.
Yeah,
I can play the drums a bit, but then I think I might get pushed off by Ebony Rainsford Brent because she's a bit of a drummer.
Oh, there you go. So you've got drum, saxophone and guitar.
Charlie Dagnall on bass.
There you go. Fantastic. I mean, we should do a 98 Not Out tune, you know. There should be a tune there. It should be a kind of...
charity single.
Theme song. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's raise money for the Bunburys. Let's do that.
Brilliant. I did raise money to put on 2 Junior World Cups. That was... pretty special. We had the Lombard World Trophy in 1995, I think it was, and then 2000, the Cost Cutter World Challenge. and we had the final at Lord's, the semi-finals, Trent Bridge and Headingley, and that was for under 15 World Cup. That was wonderful to see them all play. Pakistan versus India was the final. They were the best players in the world under 15. And then the 2001, the West Indies played. So anything to do, to answer your question there, Daz, anything to do with youth, cricket, and, all this thing at the moment, banning sports in schools, is terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, for the youngsters, it's an absolute disaster.
They've got to give them the chance to run it off and show what they can do, their skills, and I think that's essential. Also, I've been watching the IPL. Have you been watching it?
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier on.
Where we had fantastic cricket, but no spectators.
I know.
And that's really the differentiator for the IPLers, wasn't it? The crowds in India.
Crowd, the energy, they draw off the energy in all those wonderful moments. That Hardik and all
Puran, Nicholas
Puran's
Puran.
catch.
Yeah. All that, Kohli and all that. And I watched it today. But when you see Abu Dhabi and the Sharjah and whatever empty, the stands, God, the place would go mad, wouldn't it?
It would. Well, it should be back at Eden Gardens or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
So who are your okay? Right. Let's. Who are your current? I want to know who your current favourite players are and who are your all-time heroes.
Well, Gary Sobers is my hero. Sir Garfield is the greatest cricketer I ever saw. Beefy, most certainly, on and off the field, heart as big as a roundabout, fantastic, great bloke. Viv Richards, fantastic.
Yeah. I remember you at...
I'll tell you who's a really good lad,
yeah,
who you should get on the programme. That's Freddie Flintoff. What a top man.
He's way too important for us these days.
No,
busy lad, isn't he?
Fred was the Bunbury. And then you've got Stokes, Butler and Root. I'm big fans of them. I think A.B. de Villiers is very entertaining.
We'll give all of them a shout and say, look, you've got to come on.
Or if you could just give us your phone book. That'd help.
We've got the band, haven't we? We've got Johnny Orr on foot, you've got you on drums. What does Webby play?
Anything you like with that card.
Harmonies.
Harmonies in the backup. The
I'll do vocals.
The doo-wops, yeah. But no, it'd be great to get some of them on. But who are your favourite cricketers then, lads? Tell me.
Pretty similar in my case. I think definitely Botham and Richards.
Yeah.
When I was growing up was the pair of them. What what Richards did for Caribbean people in this country, and gave people purpose to their stride. After watching him play.
Yeah.
And Botham as well, because they were very similar.
Yes.
But also, I think with Botham, he stood for so many other things away from the game. His stance on apartheid in South Africa and all the rest of it, and didn't go.
That's right.
And as we've been talking about, the amount of stuff that he does away from the game.
Yep. For charity.
Yeah. Modern era players are.
Ben Stokes is very entertaining, isn't he?
Yeah. Kumar Sangakkara.
Yeah, brilliant.
And I was at Lord's when he gave that speech, which brought the whole place to an absolute standstill. The Spirit of Cricket lecture.
Yes.
Which is normally just a sort of a run-of-the-mill. I think you've been at a few of them. It's normally a run-of-the-mill affair, and there's a bit of a Q&A, and then everyone has a glass of something nice afterwards, and it's all very polite.
Yeah.
But when Kumar did it, and he started talking about being on that bus in Pakistan when the terrorists attacked and bullets ringing through, was an incredible moment, and he spoke so well. And again, as a cricketer, with the gloves and with the bat, fantastic. And then I suppose Chris Gale, who we were talking about earlier.
Fantastic. That's fantastic. But lads, in my charity side, I'll tell you who was very popular, Ian Wright.
Oh, yeah.
Wrighty was great. Bill Wyman, he got a hat-trick at the Oval, and he had a fag on, and he bowling his off-breaks. And
Ever the professional.
Leslie Grantham, Dennis Waterman, Eric, always looking the wrong way. But afterwards, you get the guitar out in the dressing room. Fantastic, we used to sit there and have a good old sing-song. It's quite surreal, isn't it? I'm really glad that you've asked me to come on your programme, lads, because It's a long time ago, these, and the memories are very nostalgic.
Oh yeah.
And I miss the camaraderie, don't you? Don't you miss all the? Do you get lots of people coming to the studios or? To
No,
Phoenix?
we're not, no, we can't. It's everyone has to be on the phone, and no, we just sit here looking at each other, socially distancing.
Oh, how sweet! Oh, congratulations.
No touching.
Fortunately, the lights are up,
you,
and it's not candlelit. Going back to cricketing heroes, I mean, as a left-handed batsman, I was always a huge fan of David Gower, and I think he went up even further in my estimation with his tiger moth incident.
Yeah, wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
You just can't see that these days, can you?
Who was the other person? Was it
John Morris.
John Morris. Great. Well, he's a character, wasn't he? God, wonderful. David Gower was so natural and elegant. Beefy was rumbustious. Viv was fantastic. Never wore a helmet.
No, he didn't.
And I'll tell you a true story. He said, Brother D, we're at Lord's. Where are you sitting? I said, well, I'm up the back there in the mound stand. And he said, well, whereabouts? I said, well, I'll be with a lady with a pink hat. This is absolute truth. He got 100, and the next ball he hit, obviously didn't hit the big pink hat, but towards us, and it must have landed about 20 yards away from us. And I stood up, and he stood there with a bat and waved it at me. And I thought that was... and afterwards I said, Vivi, he said, yeah, man, I saw the pink hat. I saw the pink hat. His eyesight was fantastic. Now, that's incredible, isn't it? He was a magician, Viv Richards. Big Bird, Joel Garner. I tell you, he was very popular. Jeff Thompson.
Yeah.
Tomo.
Yeah.
And Lily.
We were talking about Tomo earlier, weren't we?
Yeah.
Currently, those IPL boys, Chris Gale, terrific.
Yeah.
And the others. But see, going back there to your dad's days there, Webby, at Brentwood in the 90s, when you think that's 30 years ago.
Yeah.
That is frightening, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
We were just reading out the birthdays of the week. We do a feature called Cricketing Birthdays of the Week, and
Yeah.
it's quite sobering when you sort of mention people. Now, we just talked about Rod Marsh there.
Yeah.
73 this week.
Oh, fantastic. What a great man. Have you met his name's Bacchus, because he's always said back us up. He's a great bloke. He's a Bunbury. And
really?
Lily Marsh and Tomo, they were great. And Mark Waugh, Steve Waugh, that was a great... Has he been... You must get him on the programme in the summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's fantastic.
No, we'll have anyone that's interesting, anyone that's played the game with the right spirit and a story to tell.
And was good fun off the field.
Yeah, and I can imagine would have been a good mate of all of you guys down at Annabelle's back in the 80s.
Absolutely was, Annabelle's. And then Carnaby Street, we were down there, and the Cavern in Liverpool, which was fantastic. The Beatles. Ringo used to play in the Bunburys. I never met John Lennon. I met Paul McCartney once, but the Bee Gees and a lot of the musicians. The Kinks used to play for the Bunburys. That's 1980 and whatever. But I wonder where they all are. These Bunbury boys.
Well, let's get them all out. Let's shake the. They're all sat at home, like This is what we've been doing through lockdown is tracking people down.
Yeah.
And they're sat there next to the fireplace, dribbling a little bit and falling asleep.
Yeah.
And then we say, look, just come on the show for 15 minutes. It's over the phone. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go anywhere. And 9 times out of 10, or 99 times out of 100, they'd say, OK, then go on then. I'll come on.
They would love it.
So we're going to, ahead of getting you on for a David English special, we're going to shake a few of these guys out of their stupor.
That's it, rekindle the flame.
That's right.
And you know what, Daz and Webby, when they get together like that, you just re-engage. You carry on from the last time you saw each other.
Yeah.
Of course,
It's wonderful, the brotherhood, the friendship. And I always, when the Bunburys get their cat, I always give them the little poem. Bunbury stands for freedom, stands for fun, stands for ever being young. Do a good turn unto others, never turn from your quest. For you, Webby and Dazzler are a Bunbury, and a Bunbury does his best. And they get that, and we all clap, and they
Does
get
that mean
their
we
cap.
get a cap now, we've been mentioned?
Yeah, you're now Bunburys.
Oh, fantastic.
How do you feel? Change your life?
Oh,
Absolutely.
It's a lifetime achievement.
Honorary
It's up there.
Bunbury.
No, it's absolutely up there.
We'd go out for a celebratory pint if the pubs were open.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. I'd love to go and have a Guinness beer or Sauvignon Blanc. I'd love a glass of that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, nicely chilled.
French or Chilean?
Ooh.
French. Frosty.
Oh.
C'est bon, c'est très bien, mais...
Ah, c'est pas mal du tout.
Je m'appelle David Anglais. Je m'appelle David Anglais, oui, c'est bon, j'ai joué le cricket, j'aime beaucoup le cricket, c'est très bien. Oh.
Don't start me, that's another... I lived in Paris for 8 years, I've got all kinds of stories about cricket in France.
Did you?
For another time, David, for another time.
Well, Richard Bardo used to bat 4 for the Bunbury, number 4. Daddy, they got to put the pads on now and go out and play, you know, so that is it, Brigitte Bardot. C'est bon, c'est très bien. Ah. Cet amour, si fragile comme un nuage d'été, c'est bon. Dazzler et Webby, c'est bon. 98, that's 9-8, not out.
La belle époque.
La belle époque. Oui, fais attention, c'est bon.
David Anglais, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Merci beaucoup.
Absolute pleasure. And the start of something massive. We're going to get you hooked up with Ace. We're going to get the band together. We're going to get Johnny Altman and get him to get the sax out. And
please do. And he'll have stories. And once we all get together with Butch, Johnny Altman,
and Sauvignon Blanc.
Sauvignon Blanc, Brigitte, maybe. I don't know. She's probably 85 now, but we can get her up from Saint-Tropez.
Yeah.
And why not? You know, we'll have a kind of a whole tapestry of characters.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Right, we're going to play you out, David, with another Bee Gees one and the absolute classic Night Fever. David English, many, many thanks, and we'll catch up soon.
Well, Dazzler and Webby, I miss you already. Thank you so much for rekindling these memories. It's been great. And I know what's going to happen now. We're going to put the phone down. I think I should have told the boys that one. But we'll wait for the next time.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay.
Au revoir.